Hi family, welcome back. So today is day 11 and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of a lot of things. So today I want to talk about, why are you selling your grandma's house for pennies on a dollar? Yes, why are you selling your inheritance for pennies on a dollar? Okay, so throughout this video I'm going to make my points very clear. I'm going to explain to you guys why that is happening and what that looks like and the process of how we can overcome this, right? So it's going to be a very lengthy video, just to give y'all a heads up. But I just want y'all to stay with me because this is really, 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 really important. Like I've been speaking, this is a kingdom assignment. This is not nothing to do with, oh, I'm trying to take over. But I probably need to take over because y'all continue to get taken advantage of. And it's really sad. So we bring in awareness to this topic. Why are you selling your grandma's house for pennies on the dollar? And let's just talk about it, because too many families are being robbed, not by force, but by ignorance, by grief, by rushing, and by not having the right person in their corner. So you've inherited a property and now it's being sold for way less than what it's worth. And that's what you call highway robbery, guys. So I will break it down. So section 1, we're going to talk about what is a probate and why you need a realtor. So a probate is a legal process of transferring ownership of someone's assets after they pass away. And yes, that includes their home and any other estate. So it involves courts, paperwork, and timelines, debt paid off, and also figuring out who gets what. Okay, so without a will or an estate plan, the state decides, not the family. So if you don't have a will and you don't have an estate plan, the state will decide what happens to your grandma's house, right? And during this time, many families get overwhelmed and they get vulnerable. So why do you need a realtor while we're working through this process? Well, it's important because the process is very complex and you need someone who knows how to navigate court approvals, how to navigate title issues, and also how to navigate probate timelines and buyer negotiations, right? So not someone who's just trying to make a quick sale. You need somebody who really is trying to make sure that you guys are maximizing your profits, not minimizing your profits. And that's why I am making this video on why are you selling your grandma's house for pennies on the dollars. Okay, so now we're going to go to section 2. Why is an estate plan so important, guys? This is really big because this will avoid you guys a whole bunch of headaches, So an estate plan isn't just for the rich. It's for anyone who owns anything, a home, a lot, a mobile property, a $1 million estate, or a corner lot in Fifth Ward. It all matters, right? So a proper plan keeps your family out of drama, court delays, and bad decisions. It answers the questions on who's going to control everything when I'm gone, right? And without it, your family may end up fighting, selling too fast, and also losing out on the blessing that's meant to bless your next generation, right? So let me kind of stop there for a minute and let me explain that, because I took notes, but again, let me explain that, right? So it's important to estate plan. It's important to have a plan into place for anything. And as we making financial decisions, even as me being 30 years old, about to go into my 30s, it's important for me to have a plan in place, because as I'm making financial decisions as such as buying a house, if something was to happen to me, Lord forbid, I would have to make sure that my kids are taken care of and that there's some type of living trust, because for one, my kids are young. So they don't know how to make decisions for themselves, and then you also have to speak to a professional on how to make sure that things are properly given away in its proper moments in time, So it's very important to estate plan, guys, because if you do not estate plan, this is how people is taking advantage of everyone, because you're in chaos, you're in a panic. It's like, what am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. Mama's gone, grandma's gone. She got this land over here. She got this $1 million estate over here. We don't have the money to upkeep that house. We don't have the money to upkeep that land. We don't have the money to upkeep you know, that property over there because we're trying to take care of our own. So, of course, normally you would say, I would like to get a profit from that, which is fine. But if there's no plan into place, how is that going to be possible? It's going to be a lot of headaches. It's going to be a lot of delays. And like I said, a lot of court talk. And court talks can take a very long time. So even if it's not me and you're dealing with a trusted attorney, I mean, just really have a plan in place, guys, because I'm telling you, this will protect your future and your future generations to come because property is valuable. Property lasts, okay? It's not something you just buy and you just throw it away in the trash. Your property, it lasts over time and it develops wealth over time. So you want to make sure that you have a proper plan into place, okay? All right, so section 3. Why are you selling grandma's house for pennies on the dollar? So this is what I really want to get into, and this is what the nitty gritty is going to come to, because I'm going to break this down to you guys in a way that you must understand. You have to understand, because again, like I said, it's a war going on, but it's a war going on in our country, you know, in our communities, because people from overseas are coming and buying our houses for pennies on the dollars that we worked hard for. So it's important to understand what a sale of an inherited property looks like, okay? All right, so let's talk about it. And why is it highway robbery? And what's happening every day in our community? For example, if your grandma paid $75,000 on a property 30 years ago, over time, she poured her hard-earned money and got into a mortgage that's a 30-year fixed mortgage, and maybe she even passed the title down free and clear. So you have a title free and clear, right? And now in the middle of grief, y'all turn around and sell it for $40,000. $40,000. Yes, that's crazy, right? And so to sum it all up, y'all sell it for $40,000 to some investor out of town, or even worse, out the country. They coming out here making a killing off of your grandma hard-earned money. That's what's going on, guys. So that's not just a bad deal, it's disrespectful. Okay? So I'm gonna tell you how it's disrespectful, and I'm about to go into a full breakdown of this. Alright, guys, so I'm gonna tell you how it's disrespectful. And follow along. I wrote notes so I don't confuse anybody. But we're gonna talk about a mortgage, and we're gonna talk about what a mortgage is, and we're gonna talk about property and how a property go up in value over time, right? So if your grandma's house was worth $75,000 in 1995, it would be approximately $229,000 today. And that's based off an annual appreciation rate of 3.8%, right? So when you say people are selling grandma's house for $80,000 or $90,000, that's well below market value, and that's real highway robbery, okay? So we can even go on a larger scale, on a luxury property, on a multi-million-dollar property, and let's talk about that. So let's say if your grandma bought a house, right? Let's talk about it. All right. So let's say your grandma bought a house for $600,000 in 1995. And she put a 30-year mortgage on that house, right? So in 1995, the mortgage was about, a 7% interest rate at that time. So her monthly payments was anywhere from $3,900 and up. Over a 30-year period, she would have paid a total of $1.4 million plus, and that's with the principal and interest put together, right? So now let's fast forward to 2025. That same house in the same area that your grandma spent $1.4 million on in over 30 years, now that house is worth $1.8 million, right? And that's based off of an average appreciation, and it could be worth more depending on how we will run comps of that area. So by that time, you turn around and sell the house for $800,000 thinking that's a good deal. So let's look at the math. What grandma paid over time was $1.4 million, and you sold it for $800,000. That's a loss of about an average of $637,000, y'all. So you just lost $637,000 because you thinking you making a deal of $800,000. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like, oh, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but you still lost a lot of value. You still, even if the house wasn't in the best condition, guys, you still could have sold that house for way more than that. Way more. Okay, so why is this disrespectful to your grandma? Well, your grandma spent 30 years paying nearly $4,000 a month to secure that home. And that's a 360 month of sacrificing every month, $4,000. And at the end, you hand it over to an investor for half of what she paid, not even touching what it's worth today. That's not just a bad deal, that's a slap in your grandmother's face. A slap. You might as well just, I hate to be funny like that, but wake up and I slapped you. That's wrong, y'all. And I get it. I mean, $800,000 sounds like a lot of money. It sounds like, man, I just won. But that's why it's important to get the property professionally evaluated. Understand the market trends and work with someone who knows probate and inheritance games. And stop making panic decisions in emotional moments. Okay? So, it has to be a way for you guys to understand the logistics of this and how people prey on your downfall. Okay, because it's people coming and they thinking, oh, I'm gonna just offer them this and it sounds good, and you don't even know the logistics behind it at all. And they turn around and put that house on the market for 200 and, like, I'm gonna just say what they put it on the market for $2.5 million and sell it, and all you got was $800,000 out of that. Wow, that's disrespectful, guys. And I hate to bring it like this, but this is the type of awareness. Excuse me, I can't even talk. My mind going so fast, but this is the type of awareness that needs to be taking place. And it don't matter the price point, guys. It don't matter. I'm not looking for the poor. I'm not looking for the rich. I'm looking for people who are ready to take a stance and take a stance in not getting taken advantage of in this market, and to really be navigated by a professional who knows what they're talking about, who's going to make sure that they have their best interests at heart at all times. And that's me. Okay, so we're going to continue on this process and we're going to go to our next points, but I just really wanted to break that down because that's really sad, guys. Okay, all right. So this is why I say that you need a professional. Whether it's a luxury estate or a modest home in Sunnyside, you deserve a professional who understands what's at stake. Someone who knows how to handle an inherited property without rushing you. Someone who can help you avoid lowball offers and shady deals. Someone who will tell you the truth about your options and not just what benefits them. This isn't just business to me. This is a kingdom assignment. Helping families protect their inheritance, honor their loved ones, and building lasting wealth. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to take advantage of you guys. I just want to bring awareness to this because this, like I said, is a kingdom assignment, and people are constantly getting taken advantage of, and it's a time out for that, right? So we're gonna go into our next point, which is real questions people are asking during this situation. Okay, so the next point, real questions people are asking. So here's the first question people been asking me. Can I sell a house if my name isn't on the deed, but I'm next to kin? Yes and no, right? So what does that look like? That would look like we would have to go through a proving to make sure that we have people that can contest that you are the next to kin. And by doing that, we also would have to, show proof of that. And next of kin could be anybody that's, a sister. Maybe someone named Shirley, she didn't have any children and she never was married. So her next of kin would be her sister. But we would have to prove that she didn't have any children, and we also would have to check the Harris County records to make sure that she was not married. So to answer your question, you can sell the property, but again, we would have to go through a process of proving that you are the next of kin to be able to sell that house, okay? Or that estate, that land, or that luxury home. It just depends on the situation. But again, we have to prove that you can be the one to sell that and that you're the one that is entitled to that. If there's no will that's been left, if there's no estate plan or no appointed trust, again, we would have to prove that, okay? So it's possible, but it needs to be proved. All right. So what happens if my sibling doesn't want to sell, but I do? So if it's a total of four of you guys and only two wants to sell and the other two doesn't want to sell, then you have to get everybody's approval to sell. Now, what the other two can do is buy you out of your portion if that's possible. If they have the money and the capital to buy you out of your half of the house, they can do that, and that's how you can get your money in that situation. But if they don't do that, then y'all all have to agree to sell at the same time. So that's how that would look like for that question. The next question that people ask is, can I sell the house during a probate, or do I have to wait? So to answer that question, yes, you can sell a house through the probate. The judge has to approve it, and there also has to be approved heir to the property as an independent executor to make that decision. So as long as the judge approves it, and as long as there's an appointed independent executor to make that type of decision, then yes, you can sell the property during the probate. All right. So what if there's a mortgage on the property? So if there's a mortgage on the property and this is an inherited property, when we go through the sale, just like any traditional sale, if there's a mortgage on the property, then of course the mortgage will be paid off first, and then whatever is left over, that will go to the heirs of the property, right? So if you have a house that's sold for $800,000 and there's a $200,000 mortgage left on the property, then at that point, the $600,000 will go to the heirs, and it will split to the heirs, which is the next point. How would the money be split if there's multiple heirs? So again, the house has a mortgage on the property for $200,000, and the house sold for $800,000. So that's $600,000 left over, and it's four heirs. So that 600 will be split up four ways equally, right? So that's how that would look like, okay? And the next part is, do I need a lawyer or can my realtor handle it? So it depends. It depends on the situation. Some situations need an attorney. Some situations don't need an attorney. It just really depends on the dynamics of the estate sale, okay? So it could be, you might need a lawyer to do the probate will, to handle the probate court for you when you're going through, filing the will that your parent or your loved one left. And then you'll be able to have the attorney navigate that for you. And then once you're done with that navigation, then that's when a realtor can step in, such as myself, and we can go in and sell the property for what it's worth, okay? So is it better to rent or sell it? That's a good question. It just depends. In today's market right now, it's a buyer's market. So we might have to put it for rent for now until it becomes a seller's market, and where people are really, looking to buy homes. So it really just depends on your dynamics of your situation. And again, as we do our consultation together, I will go over all of that with you. I will make it clear to you, so you'll be like, okay, this is the best route for now. But again, it's totally up to you. But I will have numbers, and I will have the right system backing what I'm suggesting you to do, if that's what you want to do, okay? So yes, so these are the kind of conversations that we need to have before it's too late. All right, guys, so that pretty much concludes the video. But as I summarize on everything that I just talked about, the real importance of what I'm telling you guys is, stop letting desperate situations take advantage of you, right? So I understand that the economy is not the best, that we're all struggling, and at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do. I get it. But it's also important to do proper evaluations and not make impulsive decisions. Because if you're not doing proper evaluations, then you're gonna look back and be like, wow, I should have really listened and took advantage of the resources and help that I have to be able to maximize my benefit or my gain. And now you looking and you're seeing people advertising something that you was freely given for way more than what you got, you know. So I just want to really make that known. And everybody is talking about this war that's going on and overseas and things like that. But those same people that y'all so afraid of, the way that y'all need to be afraid of is them calling your phone every day, trying to buy your house for little of nothing, and come in and inherit what you have for pennies on the dollar. And that's really not fair, guys. It's not. So I just want to keep educating the community, and I want to keep bringing awareness to this, because I really see that God has called me to really showcase to you guys on how to stop being taken advantage of and get what you deserve. You know, even if you use that money that you get to invest into something else, or maybe even build another house, or whatever that looks like for you, just make sure that you're properly evaluating everything that you need to do. And if you are in the Houston or Harris County area, just give me a call. I have tons of attorneys that I work with if we need to go that route. I have tons of title companies that I work with. I have tons of investors that are willing to pay what the property is worth, and then just giving you that market exposure, you know, like putting your house on the market to get what you deserve. We don't have to do an off market sale. We can do a real sale and get your house, get the amount of money that your house is worth. So if you know anybody who's going through this situation, just please give me a call. I'm just a phone call away. I am Jassmine, a realtor, on Instagram. And again, you can DM me, you can message me. If you're watching a YouTube video, I'll have my phone number, my email, the brokerage that I'm with. But fully certified, done this several times. You can go check my bio. I have articles talking about how I've helped people all throughout the city of Houston save their house from foreclosure, save their houses from probates, dealing with families who going through a divorce. You know, I mean, I've done it all. I have all the tricks to the game. So again, get you somebody who's a professional who can really help you out. And I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Y'all have a great day.